Hello EDUSPLORERs, thanks for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, we appreciate your time as always. These are critical times across the region. The continent of Africa is paying attention in terms of development. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the colonial partnerships over the centuries haven't been working. And some nations who were tied with colonial contracts, colonial relationship, a lack of win-win collaboration have come to the realization that it is about time to start new partnership, new relationship, and observe the geopolitical environment. The United States of America has taken a backseat with regards to the engagement in the continent of Africa. We saw how the U.S. being kicked out of the country of Niger. We saw commotion recently as to the reason why the United States of America's generous comment in the United States regards the country of Burkina Faso. Russia has engaged the parts of the Sahel like never before seen. The European Union is sitting on the fence at the moment, thinking about its engagement with the continent of Africa. We see China has made it clear that it is in the continent for the long run, and at the moment it's involved like never before seen. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because at this moment, the country of Chad has come to the realization that the challenges of the economic problems, infrastructure, development, economic fundamentals were not looking strong with their previous relationship. And recently, when the country of Chad and its particular relationship to an extent with the country of France have decided to engage the Chinese with that particular regard, the country of Chad is beginning to reap that benefits in terms of its relationship with the country of China. Why am I saying this? China has delivered an incredible project in the country of Chad. Chad has experienced fundamental changes in terms of its economic development. This project will go a long way to support the sport infrastructure, help the country of Chad to build on a number of areas, improve the fitness of the nation, and use this particular stadium at the base for them to host international events in a whole lot of other areas. It is important to know that African nations have the resources, some lack the technology, and they are moving very closely with partners who can provide them the know-how that they need for them to strive. These are critical times in the country of Chad history, and more importantly, with hundreds of thousands of students leaving universities at this moment across the region. Chad has said that China offers them the opportunity that they are looking for, and the project that was delivered recently to the country of Chad is an example of a win-win partnership. Less talking, more action. Let's play this clip.
The Marshal Idriss Déby Itno Olympic Stadium, named after the country's former president who was killed while fighting rebels in Chad, is the largest stadium in the country. Part of the events marking the inauguration of the 30,000-seater stadium donated by China was a music show by different Chadian singers. It was constructed by a Chinese engineering group and officially handed over to the Chadian government last month. China's ambassador to Chad called the new stadium a sign of the enduring friendship between the two nations and said it would help Chad shine in sporting events.
The stadium is an illustration of the Chadian people's aspiration for a better, more dynamic life. It's a symbol of a stronger, more prosperous Chad, a sign of friendship between our two peoples and together, a symbol of increased cooperation between our two countries. We hope that this gift will please our Chadian brothers and sisters. In this stadium, we hope to see sportsmen and women, athletes, young people, running, jumping, fighting and winning.
The stadium has been built on the outskirts of the capital Ndjamena and took 5 years to construct. Chadian President Mahamat Idriss Déby Itno, who inaugurated the grounds, said the stadium was a tangible fruit of the strong ties between Chad and China. And to further cement that relationship, he called for the renaming of an avenue in Ndjamena after Chinese President Xi Jinping. He said the country's national team will henceforth have a venue for its matches, while also announcing the development of 28 more pitches for Division 1 clubs and other sporting disciplines. Those who attended the ceremony said the new stadium is a source of pride for Chad and would make the country a sporting hub.
I'm very honored to be taking part in this historic celebration. It's the first time a stadium of this size has been inaugurated in Chad, and I'm one of the first artists to perform here. To all the other artists who performed today, the history of this stadium is now in their CVs.
We thank our Chinese friends who built it for us. We ask the youth to make good use of it and promote sports in Chad.
We are used to playing certain teams in Cameroon and Morocco. That's all over now. It's what we've been waiting for. From now on, every time our national team has a match, it will be full.
The stadium, which meets FIFA standards, can also host basketball and handball matches. The inauguration ended with a ceremonial kick-off match in front of excited spectators. Caroline B, CGTN.
Recently, we saw how the country of Chad decided to end its particular military collaboration with the country of France. Why? The president said the fundamentals of the relationship, the challenges that the country of Chad faces, the growth and development, the aspiration of the people of Chad does not sit well with regards to the colonial documentation that we place ahead of this country. The new leader of the country moved very closely and to an extent went ahead and made the decision to end that particular military collaboration. We've seen recently how the country of Chad has expelled France's troops who have left the country, and more importantly, Chadian military bases are being occupied now by Chadians themselves, and those military bases that were occupied by France have been handed to the government of Chad. Chad is moving a little bit ahead to make sure that it takes full control in its own future and its own security. These are challenging times across the region. No country is sitting last. For that reason, the president of the country of Chad came out clear, without missing his word, without doubting the collaboration, without wavering. He said that the relationship and the challenges that the country of Chad is facing that are down the road are bigger than the partnership with the country of France. For that reason, he came out without missing his word and said this.
In his statements, President Mahamat Deby explained that the pact no longer met Chad's current security and geopolitical needs. He noted that the agreement had failed to provide substantial military value to the country amid challenges such as terrorist attacks.
Over time, this agreement has become outdated, completely outdated. It no longer aligns with the current geopolitical realities, the strategies of our era, or our legitimate expectations for the full expression of our sovereignty.
Chad has struggled with an insurgency for over a decade, with groups linked to Boko Haram and Islamic State active in the Lake Chad region. Backing by French and US troops has failed to restore stability. In October, around 40 soldiers were killed in a brazen attack on a military base in the region. Chad had already ordered the small contingent of US forces to leave the country earlier this year, and now the decision to end the pact with France could lead to French troops exiting as well.
The French military presence in Chad is not based on a reciprocal foundation. Chad must no longer accept from others what they don't accept for themselves. This is the sacred principle of reciprocity, the need for correction. It is now crucial for Chad to address the shortcomings in its international relations.
The president, however, gave assurance that Chad remains open to work with all partners, including France, based on a more equitable partnership. Bulkisanyabo, CGTN.
It is important to know that projects like these goes a long way to defend Chinese presence in the continent of Africa. Look at the Standard Gauge Railway. Look at hundreds of projects that the Chinese have constructed across the region. You can't deny some of these projects. The geopolitical environment is brutal, no doubt. We can talk and twist sort of events, but infrastructure do not lie. Is it for free? Not at all. It comes with a price tag. However, the continent of African nationals and citizens would prefer to see a bridge, a road that transport products easily from the hinterlands to the major cities. Farmers want to see roads, they want to see dams, they need electricity, they need a lot of infrastructure, airports, stadiums. For that particular reason, China is winning the soft power fight in the continent of Africa, and the United States of America and its strategic other partners are sitting on the limelight and watching. Tomorrow, we're going to be complaining that China is taking market share in the continent of Africa. A project like this cannot be denied. A project like this cannot be ignored. The impact it has to the people of the country of Chad is impossible to deny. Soon we start complaining. China is in the continent of Africa. China is holding the continent of Africa in debt trap. Yes, nothing comes for free. Even the multilateral banks, international institutions that finance projects in the continent of Africa is not for free. A major project like this cannot go unnoticed. These are important times in the continent of Africa's history. This particular delivery of this project, executed in a world-class format, will go a long way to sit in the hearts and minds of the country of Chad and across the region. The soft power battle is on in the continent of Africa, and make no mistake, the country of China have made it clear that there will be no modernization without moving the continent of Africa together. Let's play this clip.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has met with Chadian President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno in N'Djamena. Wang Yi, who is on the third leg of its four-nation Africa tour, said China is ready to work with Chad in implementing pact agreed on by the two countries. The Chinese top diplomat said China will provide support for Chad's development as the two countries work towards expanding relations. On his part, Mahamat Idris Deby Itno sent greetings to Chinese President Xi Jinping, calling him a visionary leader who has led China to achieve great economic takeoff. While appreciating Chinese support for the development of Africa, Itno said China remains a strategic and trustworthy friend of Chad.
Why this visit was so important? It might have lasted just 5 hours, but it was profoundly impactful and significant, especially for Chad citizens. We had an opportunity to interact with them in the streets of N'Djamena, just to get a glimpse of what it is they expect and what they think. And what we largely got from them is that they were saying China has so far done quite a bit for them as a country. This is a country that is underdeveloped, Hannah. I've been here several times. Infrastructure is barely existent. Sectors such as energy, water as well, barely existent. And so they are hopeful that these are some of the contributions China will have on them to elevate their lives. There's a lot of expectation here on the ground. They are saying that finally they can see a partner that they say they can trust will be able to help them move forward and progress their country. We did a report just as well to get views of some analysts from around the region, Hannah, on what this visit might mean. Remember, there's so many countries that he could have picked, Minister Wang Yi could have picked to come to, but Chad made the list. And so for that reason alone, a lot of guesses. France as well has been one of those international partners that we have seen getting ejected by Chad, and Chad has been saying that as it evolves, so will its relationship with the international community. And so it's no wonder that we are now seeing a key interest by Chad into countries such as China, whom they have described as an all-weather friend and a deeply respectful friend and strategic partner. And so this is a report we felt, Hannah. Just take a look and listen to the views of people here in N'Djamena. As is tradition for China every year, the first overseas visit by its top diplomat is to Africa. And this week, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi will be visiting Chad among other countries. This visit comes at a pivotal time for both countries as they seek to strengthen ties that have been expanding over the years. Chad and China have developed a multifaceted partnership, particularly in infrastructure development, energy and agriculture. China's presence in Chad has been marked by significant investments aimed at boosting the country's economic landscape. As the Chinese foreign minister arrives, expectations are high on what this visit could mean for both countries.
Strengthening partnership in key areas of infrastructure, trade and investment, communication, electricity supply, electricity projects, water. I think those are the key areas of partnership that will be seen in this new visit by Chinese Foreign Minister to Chad.
As we walk through the streets of Ndjamena, the local sentiments capture the high expectations placed on Minister Wang Yi's visit to this country. They see the partnership as an opportunity for growth, not just for the country, but also in their personal lives.
After the visit, we expect cooperation in different sectors like roads, which are in bad condition. We want them to build for us universities and health facilities. We also want our people to go to China for training. We are very happy to see him here in Ndjamena.
China has done a lot for Chad, and what they continue to do is very important to us. We want them to come and invest here so that the young people can get employment. So after the visit, I would want China to do the things I have mentioned.
The upcoming discussions between Chad and China are expected to focus on trade, investment, and possibly new agreements that could pave the way for future collaboration.
This trip by the China's foreign minister is also going to the neighboring country. Don't forget that these two countries have mutual security concern across the border. So perhaps with the renaissance of Chinese interest that we are seeing in the recent time in security partnership, this might also be linked to maybe some form of arrangement or support to combating insurgency in the Lake Chad Basin. We can't rule it out because the foreign minister will also be visiting Nigeria at the same time.
It is a visit that will no doubt elevate the existing collaboration between China and Chad as both countries pursue win-win results for their people. Penina Karibe, CGTN, in Ndjamena, Chad.
I want to thank you for watching. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Smash the like button, share the video, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.